Welcome to the Bands Make Her Dance Fantasy Football League Podcast with your hosts, Taylor LaPrairie and Joe LaFleur.
Oh, what's up, guys? Oh, man, welcome in.
Straight up sadness.
Oh, sadness this week on the pod. December 17th, Thursday, 2020. The official league podcast for the Bands Make Her Dance Fantasy Football League. And yes, Taylor, I am sad. I'm disappointed.
I'm very happy that you're sad and very, very pleased that you're disappointed.
I know that, and I know that a ton of people are quite thrilled.
I just didn't want to be the only one that does this podcast that is the one out of the playoffs. So it's nice having some company in the losers circle.
Maybe what we should do is whoever wins the league is the new co-host of the. No, I'm kidding. Or the new host. The first and second place are the new hosts.
We should start our own league, Joe. Just you and me, man.
Oh gosh, yes. So
we start 4 quarterbacks.
There we go. Yeah, a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious flex league with 4.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, that might be a little bit too far.
Okay,
but
yeah,
right, I mean.
All right. He doesn't.
Let's walk back from the other league idea,
right,
I guess.
He doesn't like my idea. All right, well, welcome in, guys. Despite my fantasy blues, we're gonna have a great show today. Lots of news to talk about, matchups to recap in the playoffs, in the consolation bracket, more NFL lines, and I guess we'll talk about this later. But we have some new ways for everybody else to get involved in that as well. A little road to the ship, some trash talk as well. I've got to ask, Taylor, we're enjoying a beer. What do you got?
Can you get me another beer, please?
I am drinking what is called a Bombshell Blonde. It's an American blonde ale. It's by Southern Star Brewing Company. And you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to lie. I've been kind of like, I'm kind of like, a lighter beer, pale ale, blonde ale kind of guy. But it's just been the last couple times I've gotten some beer. It's just been a little underwhelming. This one's kind of the same. So I don't know. Maybe my palate is just more sophisticated than I give it credit for. Maybe I need to get into the IPA game. Well, you've been really talking up the beer that you're drinking.
I am, and it's
an IPA.
So I've been trying to go to a lot of local breweries and get crowlers and buy beer directly from the breweries because everyone's hurting right now, and there's a lot of good breweries in town. I want to keep them alive. So I am drinking...
very thoughtful of you.
Very thoughtful. I'm not drinking this whole crowler. I poured some out. So don't...
You poured some out?
This is a 32-ounce crowler. I was not going to partake in 32 ounces of beer tonight. I might not make it through the show. This is from Double Shift here in Kansas City. It's called Space Temple. A little 7.5%. I think it's a hazy because I got a hazy and a regular, and this one tastes like the hazy. It's very juicy. A little dank on the back end. Yeah,
I know you love the dank.
I love a little bit of the dank in the taste. It's nice it's a nice finish.
Good.
Look at us. We're like beer connoisseurs, kind of.
Not really. I mean, I'm drinking like a cheap
You gotta
blonde
get some
ale.
good beer, man. I'm sure there's some good.
I know a lot about beer.
There's probably some good breweries down there in Austin. No.
There are. I just haven't gone to any because of the pandemic. I kind of was like checking out a few restaurants my first year, and I just never really gotten into any breweries or anything like that. I know that they exist, but I just haven't gone that.
They're out there.
Gone that route yet.
If you can find them. All right. Well, did you watch some football this weekend?
I did, but I just was very, very upset throughout it. I mean, your boy Dan Bailey, who I thought was going to be the savior for the special teams when we signed him, he has just been underwhelming. I mean, the thing is, he missed 4 kicks, which I had a student email me and sent Dan Bailey. He sent it to me 4 times, and then at the bottom of the email, he said, "Sorry, I had to type it out 4 times just for each field goal he'd missed."
Oh my gosh!
So there's a lot of smack talk happening with some of my students and I, but. Yeah, it was really, really sad. But the Browns game really made up for it on Monday night. Laramie Jackson.
Laramie.
Yeah, and you got your boy Chubb behind you.
Got my boy Chubb. Yeah, look at how wait, am I looking at it this way?
There you go.
We're
That's
both
the right way.
So surprised because I lost this weekend. I mean, look at how surprised he is. That's me right now.
Well, he had like how many points by like 5 minutes into the game?
Dude, he gave me hope, but then it was just stolen away by Laramie, the dude himself.
Yeah, Laramie.
So what's your takeaway from this weekend of football?
Well, two things. Okay, the first thing is NFL related. One of them is not. NFL related. The AFC has, throughout I think our lives, I think this is safe to say, the AFC has been the weaker conference because it's been the Patriots and then pretty much no one else. I mean, the Chiefs have always been kind of up and down, and they'll make it to the playoffs and then they'll lose, and that's kind of been their story. In the AFC East, it's just been the Patriots. In the AFC North, it's been the Steelers, but the Steelers are just like, known for being choke artists in the playoffs. The Ravens have always been kind of solid, but they had that rare Joe Flacco year where they won the ship. Other than that, it's been the Browns and the Bengals. They've been terrible. In the AFC South, you had the Colts, but then post Peyton Manning, it's just been you don't expect anything from anybody in that conference. And then in the AFC West, I mean, the Broncos, they have their 2 or 3 good years, but it's kind of been, it's not been a very deep conference. Whereas the NFC, it's been like, I feel like, 8 of those teams or 9 of those teams should be in the playoffs. But this year, it is totally flipped. The NFC is terrible. Like, absolutely terrible. Like, you have the Saints, who we keep trying to, proclaim as the best in the conference. And it's just like, are they? How do they lose to the Eagles with their backup quarterback? I still consider Jalen Hurts to be the backup. And, I mean, in the NFC North, you got the Packers, but I don't think the Packers really scare anybody. You got the Seahawks, who always start out strong, and Russell Wilson, who always goes big on the beginning of the season and just falters near the end. Just no one is scaring me from the NFC. And obviously, you got the NFC least. So AFC is officially the best conference. Your thoughts on that?
I'm totally in agreement. I agree with you that, in the past, it's usually been the Patriots and everybody else out of the AFC. I mean, even I guess maybe you can, if we're looking at, history, maybe Denver's there. But, teams like Kansas City have, like you said, before the Pat Mahomes era and the Andy Reid era, it was just kind of like they get to the playoffs, they win the division, but then they can't get past, that first wild card weekend. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. I myself, I agree with, the Saints and the Packers are the best teams in the NFC, and the Seahawks as well. But then when you pair them up against, these AFC teams, it's just, I think here, I'll use your language. I think they're just a tier below some of those top AFC teams, right? So I think,
I understand tiers.
I know you understand the tiers, baby. So
I get that.
I mean, if you were to put the Seahawks up against, let's say, the Steelers, who are right now the 2 seed, or even the Titans, who are the 4 seed, or the Bills, those games to me are a toss up between either team, right? So I just, and those are the supposedly weaker teams in the AFC playoff hunt. So, I just, and Seahawks potentially, even though they're right now the 5 seed, they should be the 1 seed, I think, by the end of the season in the, the winner of the AFC West. So at least like the 1 or the 2 seed.
NFC West, yeah.
NFC West, sorry. So yeah, I know, I totally agree with you. I see your next hot take on here.
Yeah, this one just makes me sad. It just really makes me sad. I just think college football is terrible. Like, it's just not worth the time investment anymore. It's just the top teams have never, the rich keep getting richer, and just no one is close. And like, you look at the college football ranking, or the playoff rankings. It's just these rankings just, it doesn't necessarily make sense to me anymore. I guess it makes sense, but it makes sense because it's like they're trying to get the best teams,
right?
And it's just, all you have is SEC teams up here, in Ohio State and Clemson, and I just feel like there's no opportunity for anybody else to get into the top 3, really. And I mean, I don't really think that we need to add any more playoff games, because
we've had that discussion on the pod before.
Well, yeah, like, it doesn't matter. Like, just because you add in, Indiana and Iowa State, for instance, if the season were to be done right now, like, do you really think that any of them stand a chance against those top 3? Like, no. And it just makes me really sad because it felt like college football when we were growing up felt more competitive. It felt more even. It felt like there were more upsets. And now it's just like, it's just not interesting.
It's very lopsided.
And it's got nothing to do with, the fact that Michigan State's not very good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, when Michigan State was great, it was awesome. But I'm also not sitting here in fantasy land thinking that that was the best it was ever going to be. I know we've talked about this before, but that was the best it was ever going to be. And I was really, really happy about it. But even then, like, we still weren't like that close. But now it just feels like even those teams back then, if they were like, if those D'Antonio old teams existed today, like, it would not be close. Yeah. We would lose to Ohio State 52-7. It would be that way. So college football just is not interesting to me anymore, and it's really sad that I'm cutting it out of my life, and that is a very hard thing to do.
Cutting carbs out and college football, the two C's.
Well, no, I'm really holding on to those carbs. That's a hard relationship. I refuse to get rid of those carbs. But
I don't blame you.
College football, it's time to let it go.
It's time to trim the fat a little bit with college football. Yeah, I get that. Did you see the Gruff Sparty helmets though for Michigan State this weekend? Those were tight. I have been waiting for those forever. And I'm so glad that they finally did them. So my next goal is that we get an all white uniform with chrome Gruff Sparty, chrome face mask, chrome lettering, and
chrome numbers. Yeah.
So
what are your thoughts on the neon?
What was that?
What are your thoughts on those neon jerseys we got a couple years ago?
No, that's puke fest right there. Yeah,
okay.
Disgusting. I don't care that we're like 2-0 in them. Disgusting. Hate them. So my hot take for the weekend, I think the Washington football team is really a quarterback away from being even more competitive than they are right now. And I think, let's take that word competitive lightly right now, as they're competing with the lower echelon of teams in the NFC. And again, they're in the NFC, right? So, I guess an easier schedule for them generally because the bulk of their schedule is NFC teams. But they got a stud wide receiver in Terry McLaurin. Antonio Gibson is going to be the dude. I'm excited about him next year. That defensive line with Chase Young, I mean, one of the top defenses in the NFL, and we're not talking about them because they're the Washington football team, right? I don't believe in Dwayne Haskins. Alex Smith, I love the comeback story, but he's not the future. So if they get a quarterback, I think that's the final piece to where they can really make a step take that step forward. I'm not saying that they're going to come out here, they get a quarterback, they're all of a sudden NFC contenders. But I think they consistently win the NFC East and have at least a shot at winning a playoff game. So I kind of like what Ron Rivera is doing there, and I see some positive things in Washington.
Yeah, I think they definitely. I don't want to say definitely. I don't know. I think Doug Peterson's a good coach, but is Ron Rivera the best coach in the NFC East? Definitely better than Mike McCarthy
and Joe Judge. Yes, I would say yes. I like Ron Rivera. I like Riverboat Ron, man. Mm-hmm. He's a cool dude. I like him a lot. He's got a great story. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Washington goes in the future and if they actually get a new name here. All right, let's jump into some news.
News from around the league.
All right, we've got some news. Poojan, did you know Pooj says news? He says it like that.
I thought you were saying something like that Monty Python like newt thing that they do.
Newt?
That is like you're a newt. Like they say that. That's what I thought you were talking
really?
about. He says it like
dude, I totally
he says it like
that.
news. He says it like that.
He says it like news, and he's gonna get on me because I put way too much emphasis on the new part. But yeah, he says news.
Well, you also say sure, and that's kind of annoying. So.
Oh no, I'm not saying his is annoying. I'm just saying he says it wrong. I am well aware that sure.
Well, I'm saying that when you say sure, it's annoying. So.
All right. Well, sure. All right, so stuff to get into. No new contracts or signings or whatever. Actually, I don't know if there are any firings this week. I didn't really stay up to date. But hey, we got some injuries. Matthew Stafford dealing with some rib injuries. Not the good kind of ribs. Not the good Kansas City ribs, but the bad injured, bruised ribs. He may or may not play. He's trending towards not playing, but he's one of those guys that just like toughs it out, and I could see him.
He needs to be trending toward retirement, I think.
Yeah, I think he's still a good quarterback. I don't know. I don't think it's time to retire for Matthew Stafford. I just think it's time for new scenery, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So Christian McCaffrey doubtful to play this Saturday. Oh no, new injury too. So it's not looking good there. Antonio Gibson still dealing with the turf toe. You probably know more about where he's at than I do. I think it's trending towards not playing.
I think he's going to be out, and good thing I got Peyton Barber, but ultimately, I think, given my playoff situation, it doesn't matter what I do for the rest of the year, right? I
think so. I've been reading into the Sacco deal, and we'll get into that later and see if I'm still right. So also out this week is the Miles gas can. Put on the COVID list. Yeah, that's a big one. This is a surprise, too. Ronald Jones broke his pinky last Sunday. Got a pin put in. And then today, in fact, about 4 hours ago, I found out he was put on the COVID list.
Yikes.
So that is, wow. Tampa Bay backfield. I'm going to list you some names. Keyshawn Vaughn, Leonard Fournette, and LaShawn McCoy. Who?
Yo, give me LaShawn. Give me LaShawn McCoy.
You want old man LaShawn. All right, interesting.
I want Shady.
All right, he wants Shady. Hollywood Brown was also put on the COVID list. Devontae Parker dealing with a leg issue. Oh, Deebo Samuel, hamstring
another crushing
injury.
Crushing blow to the hook down at the
You know, that's just sucks because you saw what he can be on the field when he is there. He's just not on the field.
I saw what he did last week with a 0.9 points. Well, that was awesome from a wide receiver in a PPR league. Kidding me?
Yeah, that's tough. George Kittle. They have opened the practice window, the 49ers have, for George Kittle to return. I doubt we'll see him this weekend, but there is a possible Week 16 return for the Kittle cat. So we'll see what happens. And Noah Fant left the game with illness last week. Not really sure what's up with him. I have seen him on a couple injury reports.
General illness.
Yeah, I'm not sure. My friend started him in another league and saw him go off the field, and he's like, "Oh well, I hope he's just going to take a poop or something." Pulling a Laramie, but not quite. All right, let's talk about some heartbreaking matchup recap.
Matchup recap.
All right, in the first playoff game, the Teddy Brewskis lose to AJ's Brownies 144.95 to 125.55. Come on, Tubas. Oh, so heartbreaking. It was Jonathan Taylor had a day, 30.5 fantasy points, but that was really it from my team. Tyreek Hill has a day. A.J. Brown, another day, 24.2. But the big talk was Laramie Jackson on Monday night for Marshall with 36-plus points.
I think Marshall just outsmarted us all. I think that he knew that this whole season was going to happen the way it's going. And he's just riding the Laramie Jackson wave. And he just has been very silent, very quiet, very poised for the whole regular season. And now he's going off. There's something Marshall knows.
Yeah, Laramie took a dump in the fourth quarter and then took a dump on my team as well. So it was first Laram, right? Laram Jackson from Evan and has since turned into Laramie Jackson.
Yes, it was Laram or Laram?
Laram. Oh, I like Laram better.
Yeah, I thought it was Laram because it was like the Ram in Spanish or something like that. Right. Even though Ram's not
Laram
that Spanish.
When he has a good game, Laram when he has a bad game, or just Laramie. Anyway, you can't really go wrong. I do want to talk about this though, because I am proposing a nickname for Marshall himself. I think Marshall is the defense whisperer because I played the Saints this weekend. And if you didn't know, the Saints were playing the Philadelphia Eagles, who started Jalen Hurts for the first time ever. He's a rookie. We all know how the rookie experiment normally goes in the NFL. The Saints have been top 5 in pretty much all categories defensively over the past 5 to 7 weeks. I was stoked to play them this week. And then they get me -1 points in my defensive slot. That only happened one other time this year. I played the Chiefs against Justin Herbert in his first rookie start, and they got me -6 points there. And that was also against Marshall. So Marshall, if you accept, you are now the defense whisperer. I don't know how you do it, man. You just, I ultimately had no shot anyway. But
Well, if you would have played Pooj this round, you would have won.
Oh, we're going to be talking about that in a second.
If that's any consolation.
Yes. The next playoff game of the week, this is a double upset weekend. Stat Padford victorious over a Swift kick in the cup, 163.6 to 147.25. Thomas said it in his trash talk last week that he literally needed his team to go off to beat Evan, and they did. David Montgomery, 24.5 points. Russell Wilson, 24 points. Keenan Allen, 20+. I mean, it was 20s and just double digits all across the board for Thomas, and just wasn't enough between Mike Davis and Devontae for Evan to overcome that defeat there. The
other thing that was really just amazing was if you look at who was on Thomas's bench, Kareem Hunt getting 29. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 14.1. Cam Akers, 21.4. T.Y., my draft pick, has been going off as of late. He got 25.6. So, his bench is also very scary. Also, I love that Evan did not play Miles Sanders, and then your boy goes off for 29.6.
We gotta talk about that though, right? Because you look at the matchup, you look at the last few weeks for Miles Sanders. He's been awful. Jordan Howard was getting work last week. You're going up against a Saints defense who is top of the league in stopping the run. He did that. This is why I'm not as heartbroken as I thought I would be, is because I followed the process and there was just nothing I could do. My team just did not have a good day. But you follow the process, and that's what happens. Same thing with Evan. I would have done this. I told him this. I would have done the same thing. I would have sat Miles Sanders. But it's the NFL is just so weird. And, here we are with Miles Sanders. But what was it, like a 23-point game or something? Something like that. I mean, he went
for Miles
off.
Sanders, 29.6 points.
Oh, 29. Okay,
that's how many fantasy points.
So it's just I don't blame him one bit for it. I guess I should step in here and say that the mustaches went 0-2 this weekend. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll also notice that I shaved mine immediately after Sunday afternoon's games.
I loved it when you got the hat on and you got the stash. I loved it.
It was such a dad vibe.
You looked like you should be roaming the streets of like Austin or Portland or something like that.
Yeah,
you looked great.
I needed to get I almost got a tattoo sleeve and neck tattoos too, and started working at a coffee shop. And maybe next year we'll see. All right, in the consolation bracket, hooked on a Thielen victorious over and Lisa, barely 95.1 to 87.4. Really, the only shining star in your lineup was DeAndre Hopkins with 22.6 points.
Well, you got Alvin Kamara got 22.4, who is still the running back one on the year. And then Robbie Anderson got 17, but Deebo Samuel getting 0.9. That was spectacular. James Conner getting 1.8.
Oh, James
that was
Conner
great.
Is rough right now, dude.
And then you got Matt Ryan, who I've been just a Matt Ryan believer.
This is on you. You should have dropped Matt Ryan 5 weeks ago. I don't know why you're still playing him.
Because the other options are very, very unsexy. I do have Kirk Cousins on my bench, Captain Kirk. But, honestly, they've been kind of like opposites this year, him and Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan started out really strong. I'm trying to do this on the screen. It's kind of hard. I got to get a better angle. But Kirk Cousins, not great in the very beginning, had some negative point games. He had that one negative 0.8 game. And then Matt Ryan was doing really, really well. But they've kind of gone like this.
Yeah. Well, crisscross.
But I'm really scared to play anybody else. Every time the last 4 or 5 times that, I think it was the last 4 times that I've tried to put in a waiver claim for a quarterback, I never get it. So I don't know. I've been going with Matt Ryan. I trust that he's got enough weapons, and he's playing the Chargers. It's the Chargers.
I think
they're not good. Anthony Lynn is terrible situationally, but it turns out Matt Ryan was the one that was terrible situationally, throwing 3 picks this past week. Yeah, well, that's on me. I'll take it. That was on me.
I was gonna say Julio wasn't playing, so you knew it wasn't. He needs Julio.
Yeah, but Kirk Cousins is playing Tampa Bay. I was expecting the Tampa Bay to shut them down. I didn't expect us to shoot ourselves in the foot with having a terrible kicker.
Well,
anyways.
The rant of the day there. I do have to throw this out to Kevin. And you were pretty happy about this, Taylor. Ultimately, if he had started...
Very pleased.
If he had started them, he wouldn't have won. But Kevin texts me about, I don't know, halfway through the 1 o'clock games on Sunday, because he didn't start a defense and he had the slot open. He's like, hey, Joe, can you pick up the Packers for me? And I say, yes, I can totally do that. So we did it. I texted him back. I said, you're all set. And then I think Evan and Pooj and Derek and I were on a FaceTime call hanging out, watching the start of the 4 o'clock and 4:25 games. And the Packers are playing, and we look at Kevin's matchup, and he hasn't put the Packers in. And he texts me about 30 minutes later. He's like, oh, shoot, I think I screwed up. Oh, no. Kevin! Oh, definitely the ope of the week there for Kevin.
Well, the other thing was he played Brandon Cooks, who was inactive for the game.
That's right.
So if he would have played either Marvin Jones or CeeDee Lamb or Mecole Hardman, I would have lost.
Oh, Kevin, you get a double one for that, my friend. Oh, my gosh. I forgot about that.
If he would have played, even if he would have left the defense off, if he would have played Mecole Hardman or those other two wide receivers, he would have beat me. But
everyone is going to be so disappointed because there's a lot of people in the league who, first of all, did not want me to win, and second of all, for you to get the Sacco. I guess that's what happens when you're on the pod. All right, in the current Sacco game, the injured reserves falling to the Cowboys that suck. 114.7 to 100.45. Tim,
I thought for sure Kelsey was going to get this in the beginning of Sunday. I was like, "Oh, Kelsey's got it." But then Tim stormed back.
Tim is making a comeback here. He does not want the Sacco, and he is making a fight for it right now. Allen Robinson, Austin Eckler, and Josh Allen were his stars this weekend, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. But I think Tim's team. Really solid. He's just fought a lot of injuries this year, and that's kind of been the story for his season. So big win for Tim, trying to avoid the Sacco. We do have to highlight this because although it was bye week for these two guys, one performed well, one did not. Pooch Top
one
Joe
performed
Bottom,
incredibly.
Yes, Pooch Top Joe Bottom scored 115.65 with his lineup, and I did look at his lineup, and it looks like he did set it. I don't think he tried to, not set it and just, kind of put it by the wayside. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, though, 176. I mean, I now that I said it, I think the Thanksgiving episode, I picked Evan to win the ship at that point. But if he was knocked out of the playoffs, Derek was my second, option here, and obviously I think Derek's got a good shot at it. But yeah, so Pooj. Not a strong showing, and man, I wish I played you this week instead of last week or 2 weeks ago. But
I know Pooj is putting up Tim-like numbers right now.
Woe is me. All right, let's jump into a little bit of NFL lines here. All right. More NFL lines this week. This has been a really fun segment, by the way. I have really been enjoying this. So give us an update on last week, Taylor.
So last week, we had, I'll just do a quick rundown. So we both picked the Rams, and they won. We both picked Tampa Bay, and they won. We both took Houston, and that game was not close. Chicago destroyed the Texans. We both took Dallas and won that one. We both took Kansas City against the Dolphins. But, man, those Dolphins are scrappy.
They played well.
Yes, they kept it with under 7 points. We both took Arizona, and they won. We both took Carolina, and the Broncos won. They went outright.
Drew Lock. I mean, I'm sorry. That's a story for a different time. That's a venting for another time.
What do we think? John Elway, he gone? What do you think?
No, because he's the chosen one in Denver, but he's making terrible decisions.
I think they're going to give him one more year. And if it's still gonna, if they don't win more than 4 games, I think him and the whole coaching staff is out.
With John Elway gone, I think it's gonna be he retired. They won't fire him. Yeah. I think it'll be a forced retirement. All right. Anyway,
Exactly.
sorry, I interrupted.
So at this point, we're tied. And then this is where it got interesting for me, at least. We had Jacksonville. We had Tennessee at Jacksonville. You took Jacksonville. I took Tennessee. Tennessee won big. And I'm now up by 1. So I saw that. And I was like, okay. All right. Your boy Taylor's about to go 2 for 2 here.
Just wait.
And then we had Indianapolis at the Raiders. You won that one. You took Indy. We had the Jets at Seattle. You took Seattle. I took the Jets for some stupid reason.
Wait.
Well, the line was 13.5.
But
the line was
the
13.5.
Jets?
Oops. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to go 0-16.
It is.
I mean, it's only happened twice. I figured that they would at least keep it close.
All right.
You know,
That's fair. All right.
I think Sam Darnold's I think he's fighting. So anyways, Seattle won by, 37 points? So not close. And then we had Green Bay at Detroit. Detroit lost by only 7. The line was 7.5. So you took that one. We both took New Orleans. That didn't work out for either of us. We had Atlanta at the Chargers. You took the Chargers, and they won. We had Washington at San Francisco. You won this one, Washington. So at this point, you're up by 4. We both took Buffalo, and they won. And then we had Baltimore at Cleveland. I took Baltimore, and the line was 5.5. And yeah, exactly. And Cleveland kept it within 5. So you ended up getting 11 of them right. You had a great week, and then I got 6 right. So you destroyed me.
Wow. Yeah. I got a couple of them were pretty lucky.
Yeah, you're right. They were all
by
lucky.
like a half point. Yeah. Okay. Sure. All right. So we've got a whole new spreadsheet here. I'll post it in the Facebook group too if you want to submit your picks and just have fun with us here. It's pretty easy. You just got to type in your name at the top and then the abbreviation of the team name, and everything else is taken care of. So Tay, you want to take us through these?
Yes. All right. Here we go. First game, we've got Chargers at Raiders. And I'm assuming right here the bottom team is the home team. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. The bottom team is always the home team.
Great. Yes, we have Chargers at Raiders. Line is -3 Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders in this one.
Man, -3. The Raiders just have looked bad. I'm gonna take the Chargers here.
All right. We got next game, Bills at Broncos. Line is 6.
Yeah, this is
Bills.
Bills, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, this is smash.
I would bet on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next thing, we got Panthers at Packers. Packers favored by 9.
That's a hard one.
This is a hard one. It's a hard line, especially since I just don't like Green Bay's defense.
Yeah, I think that's the big one here.
I think they're in kind of imposters to me.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at Mike Davis most likely. If it was Christian McCaffrey back, I'm sure the line would have changed if Christian McCaffrey was back. But I definitely would have slammed the Panthers just to cover. You know what? I will take Carolina to cover this game. I still think the Packers win, but I do think Carolina covers.
I will take the Panthers because I just don't want to pick the Packers and lose. We got Bucks at Falcons. Bucks are favored by 6.
No Ronald Jones this week. I don't think it really matters. Falcons actually have been tough against the run. That's the one thing they have been able to stop. I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm smashing Tampa Bay. 49ers. The Arizona 49ers at the Cowboys this week. 49ers favored by 3.
3? I don't know. I'll take the 40. See, now this is interesting. So if you're looking at the spreadsheet here, there's a column that says line, which is the current line, and then another column that says open, which is where the game, obviously, like the line opened at. It opened at 49ers by 1.5 and has since changed to 49ers by 3. Zeke's been questionable. I'm going to take the 49ers in this game.
Yeah, I'll also go San Francisco here. I thought about it real hard, but I'm going to go with you as I'm going to go with the Niners on this one. We got Lions at the Titans. and Titans are favored by 10.5.
See, now this is a pick I will change if Stafford plays. If Stafford doesn't play, I'm taking Tennessee, and that's the way it's looking right now. So I'm going to stick with Tennessee as of now. If Stafford plays, I'm sure the line will change, but if that line stays the same, I'm going to take the Lions to cover.
I'm going to take Tennessee as well. We've got so far we're only different on the Raiders Chargers game.
Oh, just the
Interesting.
one.
Texans at Colts, and Colts are favored by 7 here.
What was the score of the game a couple weeks ago?
Let me look that up.
Colts smashed
here.
them. I like Houston still dealing. Brandon Cooks. He just has such a concussion history that, one more and he's out for more than just a week. And it is in Indianapolis. I'm going to take the Colts.
Do you believe in the Indianapolis Colts quarterback situation?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think Phillip Rivers he's got to go.
Last time they played, Indianapolis won 26-20.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Colts to cover. It was a different game last time with Houston. Looks like David Johnson will be back, but still, I just don't know if they can really keep up, especially on the road. My boy DJ.
Your boy David.
My
David
ride or
Johnson.
die, baby.
All right, we got the Pats at the Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 2.
All right, the Dolphins. The Finns are favored. This is crazy.
I know, never in a million years I think this was going to happen.
Oh my gosh, this is hard. See, now this is hard. If the Dolphins had Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, and Myles Gaskin, they were full go across the board.
I know, that's really hard.
That's the thing. I would smash Miami. But this makes me think. But then you think about Cam Newton and that Patriots offense, and it just does not look good. Games in Miami. I'm going to take New England in this game. I don't think they can. I don't think they can take that defense down. And
I'm taking Miami because it's only 2. So I'm definitely going the Dolphins here. Okay, we got Bears at Skull. The Vikings. Vikings cannot believe it, are favored in this game.
I can.
By 3 points. By 3 points here. Who you got?
This is hard because the Vikings have been playing good football. Kind of. Depending on the matchup. Sorry to slight your Vikes.
Depending on what you mean by good.
Depending on their matchup, right? Yeah. And the Bears have been okay. But then you see what they did to Houston this week. And Houston has a terrible, defense. But
as do the Vikings.
I just don't believe in Mitchell Trubisky. I'm gonna take your Vikings here.
I'm taking Skull all the way.
Then you have to, yeah.
All the way. If the line was 40, I would take the Vikes. We got the Seahawks at Washington. Seahawks favored by 5.5.
Low over under too, 44.5 points. The Seahawks have had a couple rough games in the last stretch. Obviously not this past week against the Jets, but the past couple weeks. Washington's defense is so good. I talked about it.
They're hot.
But here's the thing. I will depend on the quarterback again for me. And right now, if Alex Smith doesn't play, I'm going to smash Seattle here. I don't think Washington can keep up. That's the problem. If they can't keep up with Seattle, we're going to have an issue here. If Alex Smith plays, I might meander on over to Washington. But I'm going to take Seattle right now.
I'm taking Washington. They beat the Steelers. They beat the Niners pretty easily. I'm gonna go Washington. I don't really feel great about Seattle. I think that they're just a whole lot of nothing. I don't think it really matters who they play quarterback. They're just going to grind them out on the ground. Their defense for the Hawks is not very good. All right, we got Jags at the Ravens.
Oh boy,
the house that Laramie built, and the Ravens are favored by 13.
13? Are you kidding
That's a lot.
me? Look, no Hollywood Brown. I know I picked wrong taking Jacksonville last week. Gardner Minshew's back.
Oh, no. Is he doing it?
I think I'm going to take the Jags right now. I mean,
all right.
I don't. 13's a big number.
Yes, and I thought it was a big number when I saw the Jets playing playing them. But I mean, the Jags are very close. They have one more win than the Jets, and I also think the Ravens need to win. And I don't think it's going to be like an easy game. I think that they really need to smash them. So I think they're gonna go pretty hard in this game. So I'm taking Baltimore.
I should have taken Baltimore.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
What?
All right, we got the Jets. Next up, we got the Jets at the Rams. And the Rams, cannot believe this, favored by 17.5 points.
This is, if I thought 13
it's a big line.
was big.
It's a big line.
That's a huge line. It's in LA too. Aaron Donald, dude. 17.5. I will say, so the Jets are 4-9 against the spread. So this opened at 16.5, is now 17.5.
What's your play here?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Am I actually going to take LA? I think
17.5, dude.
Yeah, that's huge. I'll take the Jets. I'll take the Jets to cover. Wait, is Frank Gore here? Is Frank Gore? Wait,
is he here?
Frank Gore in the building? Frank Gore, is he going to play? I think he will.
Let me check the participants on this Zoom.
I'll take the. Yeah, did you admit him? Is he still in the waiting room?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a. He's not able to. He doesn't have an Eanes ISD email.
There you go. Yeah, go Chaps.
I'm gonna take the Jets as well. I took them last week. It didn't work out. I'm just trying again.
Is huge.
Yeah. I think the Rams are good, but I don't know. I think that their defense though is locked down. Oh gosh.
Now here's the thing. You've never let me go back, but I will say this is new because with this spreadsheet, I was going to say this at the end when we were done picking our picks, but you can change these up until kickoff. Well, not up until kickoff. Up until the 1 p.m. game.
I'm going to go Jets right now.
Yeah, I'm going Jets too.
Next game, we got the Eagles at Cardinals. Line is Cardinals 6.5.
I think this is going to shock you. I'm taking the Eagles.
Taking the Eagles.
Arizona has been. I'm not taking them to win the game. I'm taking them to cover. I think Arizona wins the game. Arizona's defense has been bad. Kyler Murray's banged up. Jalen Hurts. I think he's good. I actually think he's a startable fantasy option. I'm going to take the Eagles to cover.
Does not shock me at all. I was going to go Eagles on this one. You got Chiefs at Saints. Chiefs favored by only 3.
Yeah, this is actually exactly where I think it should be. And I am going to take the Chiefs because I think they win by 3. I don't think this is almost a pick'em. I mean, not quite. But I think Kansas City at least wins by 3, if not by a touchdown.
I think I got New Orleans in this game. I think that they're coming off a big loss, an embarrassing loss. I don't know what is the news on. What is the latest on Drew Brees?
Not slated to come back. It will likely be Taysom, but he could come back. They're not going to rush him. That's why I'm taking the Chiefs. If it was Drew Brees, then it'd be a little bit different. But I'm taking the Chiefs in this game. Yeah,
I'm going to take the Chiefs as well. I'm changing. The other thing is if it was a game, if it was like a real true home game where the crowd was there, I would definitely take the Saints. But I'm going to go Saints. Or I'm going to go Chiefs. All right, we got Browns at Giants. Browns favored by 4.5 at the Giants.
And this is tough. I like the Browns a lot this year. Game opened at 3.5 in favor of the Browns. Has now moved to 4.5. I know Daniel Jones. Yeah, I'm going to take Cleveland too. I know Daniel Jones has been having some injury issues. And the Giants defense is good, but I think it's a revenge or a comeback game for the Browns here.
Mm-hmm. Next game, we got last game too. Steelers at Bengals.
Oh my god!
Line is Steelers 12.5.
12.5.
I got Pittsburgh in this one. I think they're going to win big.
I think so too. They're mad. They're angry. Lost 2 straight, and Cincinnati. Oh, it's been rough. It's been very rough. So it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 games that are different.
4 games that are different, but there's some of the stuff that if I'm going to have the rest of the week, I might be looking at changing.
Yeah, I talked about it too. That Tennessee Detroit game, and what else did I say? A couple other ones in there that might be interesting. So if you want to join us and put your picks in here, we'll go through who won on the pod next week. I'll post the link in the Facebook group along with the normal episode picture tagline thing. Come join us. Jump in. The water's fine. It's gonna be super fun.
Road to the ship.
All right, here we go. Playoffs week 2. Little road to the ship. All right, in the actual playoffs, still playing number 6 AJ's Brownies versus number 2 Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Battle of the East.
Oh, the Battle of the East is right. Yes, Marshall coming off a big win. His team is looking good. Derek did not play, but we talked about it. 176 points. This is tough because Derrick Henry has been a straight-up beast, and he's playing the Lions. Oh, my gosh. But then you got Laramie for Marshall's team, and he is starting to show up here.
He's been great. You got A.J. Brown, who's been great. Tyreek Hill is poised to go off. Nyheim Hines has been steady. You got J.D. McKissick, who's been seeing a lot of work since Antonio Gibson's out. The previous 2 matchups, we had week 5, Derek won that one, and then week 10, Derek won that one as well, but it was very close. Only won by 11 points. I've got Derek in this one. He put up 174 points last week. I got Derek to win the rest of this this playoffs. Yeah. I'm going Derek here.
Revenge game here for Marshall. Man, there's out of the 4 teams left in the playoffs, I want Marshall to win it all. I do. Not just because he beat me, but just because, the little comeback story here. But I am going to take Derek in this game. I talked about it earlier. I think Derek, I agree with you. I think Derek takes the cake here. It's just, Derrick Henry has been so good in his matchups. I mean, I think it's Detroit this week, and they just played Jacksonville this past week. There's some other, I think it's maybe Houston next week, which again is a terrible run defense, so he's going to eat. Next playoff game of the week, Pooch Top Joe Bottom, the 1 seed, versus Stat Padford, the 5 seed. Oh, the battle for Principal Trumpet in the MSU Wind Symphony.
Battle
Watch
for lead
out.
trumpet. The previous matchups, week 7, Thomas won 125 to 86.8.
Ooh.
Yikes. And then week 11, Pooj got 159.2, won that game. But Thomas still put up 134. For me in this game, I think I'm going to go with Thomas.
Wow.
Pat Mahomes playing New Orleans. Okay. They've got a really, really good defense. And just looking at the matchups, I think it's pretty favorable for Thomas's weapons. I mean, Robert Tonyan, we don't talk about him really ever, but he's the tight end 4. That dude's been putting up like RB2 numbers in a tight end spot. That's great for him. David Montgomery has been an absolute stud. He's the running back. He is now averaging, because of his average points, he's now the running back 9. And then Chris Carson's been going off all year. T.Y. Hilton's have been an absolute stud, and Cam Akers has emerged as like the starting running back for the Rams. That's huge. So I'm gonna go Thomas here.
Yeah, I think Thomas has a lot of options this week, as opposed to Pooj is a little bit more backed into a corner in terms of his receivers here. Man, I want Thomas to win this game. I think Pooj might win it, and I hate that because there's nothing more. There's nothing more than I would like to see than see my arch rival, my arch nemesis, Pooj go down. Pooj, I love you, but inside of fantasy football, I absolutely despise you.
I think this is going to come down to, does Thomas start the right people?
I think
because
so too,
he has other.
yeah.
He's got Juju, Kareem Hunt, Clyde Edwards. I think that's really going to be a big question. Is who's he going to start? And you got to start the right people there. But yeah, I'm going Thomas here.
That's the thing. I mean, like I said a second ago, Thomas has options. I think Pooj is a little bit more backed into a corner here. But we'll see what happens. It's fantasy football. Anything can happen. All right, in the Mediocrity Bowl. That's right. Over the next 2 weeks, me and Evan will slug it out for, a little 50%. Basically nothing.
For nothing.
So Evan, a swift kick of the cup versus the Teddy Brewskis. We did make a little bit of side bet. We're going to call our matchup a 2-week matchup, and whoever comes out on top after these next 2 weeks we'll have to buy the other one some nice beer, either from Kansas City or from Michigan. So we'll do a little trade ski there. And then now in the consolation bracket, we are now at this point where it is the 7th seed hooked on a Thielen versus the 10 seed Cowboys that suck, and the 9 injured reserves versus the 8 seed and Lisa. And that last game, the 9 and the 8 that I just talked about, is currently the Sacco Bowl. So I believe the way this works now, this is like update 5.0 in the Sacco discussion here.
5.1.
Yeah, I believe the way it goes is it is your record in the consolation bracket with least points for as the tiebreaker. So if we're looking at it right now, injured reserves and Lisa are in that Sacco game. Likely the loser of this game will probably be the Sacco, but we don't know that for sure. If Kelsey wins, it's a little bit more complicated. If Kelsey loses, it's a little bit clearer.
So but it could be a thing where, well, it's points for is the tiebreaker.
The least points for is the tiebreaker. So
my guess would be, I think that I have the highest points for.
Correct.
So if I were to lose the next 2 games, I definitely
it
would be the loser of this week.
You could finish as 9th, but it's very unlikely that you finish as 10th.
Yeah, unless someone like hacks my phone and puts everyone on my team like on the IR or something.
Yeah, I mean that's something I might do.
Plausible,
right? All right, we've got a couple trash talk submissions here. Let's get into them.
Trash talk.
Now stop this! I hate seeing you have a great time. This play day is definitely over.
Oh man,
very aggressive music.
I know. Yeah, you kind of have to plug your ears for the initial drop there. Yeah. All right. We only have 2 submissions here. 2 submissions. So we have one from Thomas, who is playing against Pujan this week. Here is what Thomas had to say for all of us.
All right, so I'm playing Pujan this week, and, I have to be honest, he's got a good squad and is deserving of the number 1 seed. I'm going to need to bring my A-game to beat him this week. I did find his smack talk on the Facebook group a little odd, though, considering that his opponent last week was the only playoff team that he would have beaten. I really wanted to take this time to talk to my friends Joe and Taylor. Taylor, nice win last week. You've avoided the Sacco and have firmly planted yourself in the 7th place Who Cares Bowl. Joe, for a man who's made it his life mission this fall to win back-to-back championships, a man who actively keeps and maintains a league database, a man who burns up the waiver wire every week, a man who records a podcast every week just to flex his fantasy knowledge, that's gotta hurt. But hey, at least you're not Taylor. Pooch, good luck this week. For players who were once in the 9th and 10th spot in the power rankings, we've done pretty well. See you Sunday.
Thomas, you were literally never 9th. Oh my gosh.
Why is he getting airtime? Why are we allowing
evidence that he has never been 9th? Yeah, Pooch was 10th to start the season, but he's never been 9th. That was okay. I gotta say that was good. That stung a little. It stung a little.
Yeah, I don't. We should have just pretended that, like, oh yeah, something got lost in the mail and we didn't get the. We need to do that for next week. I don't like this.
Yeah. No more trash talk from Thomas. I will say, Pooch did not send in a rebuttal. I think after his confidence last week, and
he knows he's in trouble.
What happens? He
knows Tyler Boyd isn't showing up. He knows.
So I don't know. So our second one is from Derek, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
D-Money.
Taking on Marshall, the 6th seed. Here's what Derek had to say.
Hey, Marshall. What's up, brother? First and foremost, I want to congratulate you on your playoff win and for taking down the reigning champ in Joe. Now, that's a pretty big accomplishment. You should be proud of yourself for that. And this is a crazy matchup we have here, if you think about it. The previous 2 Sacco winners, or I guess you could call us losers, but previous 2 Sacco receivers, so let's put it that way. We're going up against each other in the semifinals of the playoffs, and that's full circle, my friend, so pats on the back to both of us. Anyway, I know we've had a couple matchups during the regular season, and I also know I took the cake on both those occasions, And I can't say I'm not proud of those wins. And I also know that the old saying is third time's a charm. But I'm afraid there's no room for Prince Charming this week. There's no room for princes when the king is in town. King Henry, baby. He will be running all over the Detroit Lions defense, and I'm ready to see it. I hope you're enjoying the win from last week because, just like your Steelers, I'm sorry, buddy, but your luck's run out.
Oh, man, Derek. Okay.
All right. I'll give it up.
The King Henry slam was probably my favorite part of that whole thing.
Well, I mean, his team name is, though, the Fresh Prince of Hilaire.
That's true.
So at first I was a little confused, but then he brought in King Henry, and that was
I think
okay.
he should
That's
change
good.
it to the Fresh King of, I don't know, the Fresh King of Derek. That makes no sense. I thought it was,
Yeah.
I don't know. That was, it was great because I didn't know where it was going until it hit.
Yeah, you had that look in your eye of like, I wonder where this is going to go.
Yeah,
That's
man,
great.
why is everyone dogging on me this week? I know why.
I love
know
that.
why.
That was great.
You don't have to answer that question. I know why. All right, I still have the trophy for another 2 weeks. All right, that's all we got for Trash Talk.
Trash Talk.
Now stop this. I hate seeing you have a great time. This play day is definitely over.
Oh, man. A couple things to throw out there before we sign off for the day. The Bando Awards, yes. Awards for the show, so these are basically awards that everyone in the league is going to have a chance to vote on. Some fun awards in there. We'll post this probably by this weekend, so you can get your votes on. The winners will be announced the Week 17 edition of the pod, the last pod of the season. There's some fun little jabs in there. Should be fun. I think you might win some, Tay.
Yeah, none of the good ones.
Yeah, that's the same here for me. And then don't forget for those of you, I guess we're all still playing, but especially those of you that are still playing for something, there are Saturday football games this week in the NFL, so make sure you keep an eye on that. And that's all we got for you this week on another episode of the pod. We got 2 left, Taylor. 2 episodes
I know, very
left.
sad. It's coming to a close.
It's coming to a close. Another good season, but it's still exciting. Don't forget, LA Chargers at the Las Vegas Raiders tonight. Should be a good game. All right, guys, that's all we got. Peace out. We'll see you next week.
Peace, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Bands Make Her Dance Fantasy Football League podcast.